Dear President Biden and Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, I pray that this letter finds you well and blessed. My name is Maurice Allen Petty, and I am a 43-year-old African American diaspora born in the city of Compton on January 2nd, 1980. I'm writing this letter to express some of my concerns and suggestions with you. Also, to make a special request, which I will outline accordingly. It took me quite a while to write you this letter because I'm not sure if you will even read this letter. However, it's imperative that I'll follow through with my request of you. Happy New Year! Today is January 3rd, 2023. Mr. President, it has been very challenging being a black male in America. No matter how the world tries to sweep racism under the rug, African Americans are still suffering from covert, subliminal, and systemic racism. Yet and still, as children of God, we have been resilient. It is not my intent to complain, nor do I want any sympathy, Mr. President. I only want to share my perspectives on the issue and to also provide some solutions. The Lord has put something really important on my heart that will forever change the future of the world. And I was so happy to see you and Kamala Harris and Vice President Kamala Harris meeting with the African leaders. History was made at that forum, and I just wanted you to know that. Thank you. Mr. President Biden and Madam VP Harris, Mrs. Harris, I'm addressing you both in this handwritten letter from a place of love and not hate. I come to you with the respect that is due. I know that it is within your power as our world leaders, country's leaders, to grant what I'm about to ask of you and to grant what I'm about to share with you. All that I ask is that you count me in and that you don't count me out. This letter is all about Africa, Mr. President and Madam VP Kamala Harris. This letter is about the African diaspora, which is a worldwide collection of communities descended from Native Africa, predominantly in the Americas. This would have happened from the 1500s all the way up until the 1800s during the slavery, during the slave trade. I wanted to follow up with one of my previous letters that I typed up to you and go into a little bit more detail as fresh new insights are being revealed to me daily by God. God. This is really and a prophetic move, Mr. President and Madam VP. These are prophetic times. America and African Americans, America needs your help to return to Africa. We need help building in Africa. And the Lord revealed to me that we need to send our most resources, the most talented and skilled workers to help rebuild Africa, which I heard that you all discussed. However, I would like to go into a little bit more detail on that. The perfect solution would be to send our brothers and sisters migrating from Mexico into the US, send them to Africa under work visas in collaboration with America to help build affordable housing and build communities and infrastructure in regions of Africa. And also send the best Mexican farmers to Africa to till the land. Once again, till the land. Sending our Mexican immigrant brothers and sisters to Africa under work visas to rebuild Africa, and make her current, bring her up to date, like America. We all know that Mexican brothers and sisters are the most skilled laborers in the world, don't we? Right? And they have been blessed by God to build America's homes, our apartments, roads, infrastructure, you name it. buildings, churches, our Mexican and Hispanic brothers and sisters can make something great from nothing. In my previous letter, I mentioned that we should expedite and waive the fees for African Americans to make our exodus back to Africa, because that may be one of our biggest hindrances is getting around the passport process and the limitations and even the systemic racism involved with obtaining a passport for African American is not easy. Child support. Why else would they um, make you not be able to uh, go to another country without paying child support? I believe it is in your power to help us with that. We can take our children to Africa along with grants, along with grant funding. Okay, so in my previous letter, I mentioned expediting passports and waiving the fees for African Americans to make our exodus back to Africa, along with grant funding. With this grant funding, African Americans and Mexicans will work together to rebuild Africa, and that will be a much needed bridge that needs to be uh, gapped, that needs to be filled. There needs to be a bridge between the Mexican community and the Black community, and this will be the perfect way to bring us together. Because African Americans with the grant funding can then pay their laborers, our Mexican laborers, um, to build and to till the land for farming. Mexicans are also blessed with the gift of farming, masonry, agriculture, horticulture, land development, carpentry, and the list goes on. So this would be one of the most brilliant, brightest solutions. As we are accepting and receiving Mexicans migrating from Mexico into the US, we can then embrace them and somehow, some way, get them visas, and we can go to Africa and build. Mexico, we need to send them to Africa to help Africa. So just think about it. Mr. President and Madam VP Harris, thank you for taking the time to read my letter and listen to my voice and to hear me out. Thank you in advance for your time and consideration. I pray that this letter finds you all blessed. Bless your families. Bless you from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. May the Lord continue to use you. May He continue to guide you with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.